what they called nonsense, became the secret the president swore to protect. The FBI's war room exploded in mocking laughter as Agent Sarah "Ghost" Martinez clutched blood-stained photographs showing terrorist coordination meetings, her trembling voice describing sophisticated attack plans, while Deputy Director James "Hammer" Thompson slammed his fist on the table, dismissing her as another delusional female agent chasing fantasy conspiracies. Martinez's combat-scarred hands shook as she spread surveillance footage across the conference table, her Marine sniper background recognizing enemy tactical signatures that civilian-trained agents couldn't comprehend, their arrogant dismissal echoing through sterile government hallways where institutional pride mattered more than American lives. The room's testosterone-fueled mockery reached fever pitch when Section Chief Robert "Bulldozer" Harrison theatrically swept her evidence files into trash bins, his condescending sneer reflecting 3 decades of destroying investigations that threatened bureau hierarchy, while Martinez watched her life's work crumble under bureaucratic arrogance. But the evidence she carried had already reached higher than they knew. In the Oval Office, silence fell as the president read every page. The same bureau that mocked her froze when the president ordered it classified. Sarah "Ghost" Martinez, dismissed as delusional, trusted as the nation's shield. Welcome to Silent Salute, honoring America's unsung heroes. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you believe that truth transcends institutional power, hit that subscribe button right now to join our mission of exposing America's most dangerous cover-ups. Martinez had infiltrated the most dangerous terrorist networks in American history during her 2-year undercover operation. Her false identity as arms dealer Maria Santos, providing access to coordination meetings where domestic extremists planned synchronized attacks with foreign operatives in abandoned warehouses that reeked of diesel fuel and hatred. The evidence briefing had transformed into a public execution as Harrison's team systematically destroyed Martinez's credibility, their personal attacks targeting her PTSD episodes while ignoring intercepted communications revealing 17 coordinated strikes planned against federal buildings, power plants, and military installations across the United States. Agent Martinez, your paranoid military mindset has created elaborate fantasies connecting unrelated criminal activities through imaginary terrorist coordination. This bureau investigates real crimes, not war-zone delusions from traumatized veterans who see enemy combatants in every shadow. Thompson declared with institutional authority that silenced dissenting voices. Martinez's voice cracked as she described listening to terrorist leader Abdul, the architect, Rahman coordinate timing sequences with domestic militia commander William Iron Cross Davidson. Their recorded conversations detailing synchronized explosions designed to collapse critical infrastructure while emergency responders rushed towards secondary explosive devices. Sir, I have 47 hours of recorded conversations, financial transaction records showing overseas funding, and photographic evidence of joint training exercises. These aren't fantasies. They're coordinated warfare plans that will kill thousands of Americans within 72 hours, Martinez pleaded as tears streamed down her weathered face. The systematic character assassination continued as Senior Agent Patricia, Ice Queen, Stevens questioned Martinez's mental stability, suggesting that combat trauma had created paranoid thinking patterns that generated false connections between independent criminal organizations operating without sophisticated international coordination capabilities. Harrison's dismissal reached cruel heights when he publicly read from Martinez's psychological evaluation report, his theatrical performance designed to humiliate while protecting institutional reputation from investigations that revealed catastrophic intelligence failures spanning multiple federal agencies. Agent Martinez, your service record shows recurring PTSD episodes, panic attacks, and documented paranoid ideation following combat deployment. Your elaborate conspiracy theories represent textbook symptoms of military-induced psychological dysfunction rather than legitimate intelligence work, Harrison announced to bureaucratic applause. Martinez's desperate final attempt lasted 37 minutes as she presented overwhelming evidence of imminent coordinated attacks, her tactical analysis predicting synchronized strikes that would demonstrate sophisticated enemy capabilities exceeding anything previously encountered on American soil. The evidence included detailed architectural plans of target buildings marked with explosive placement diagrams, communication intercepts revealing precise timing codes, financial records proving coordinated funding from hostile foreign governments, and surveillance footage showing weapons caches being distributed across 17 American cities. These terrorists have studied our emergency response protocols and identified our critical vulnerabilities. They know exactly how long it takes FBI tactical teams to respond, where our communication centers are located, and which infrastructure failures would cause maximum civilian casualties, Martinez explained with desperate urgency. Thompson's final rejection came with administrative cruelty that destroyed Martinez's federal career while burying evidence that revealed his own failures in detecting coordinated threats operating under his supervisory jurisdiction for over 18 months. Agent Martinez, this bureau officially rejects your conspiracy theories as unfounded speculation lacking credible evidence. Your administrative record will reflect systematic failure to conduct appropriate investigations, and we're recommending immediate psychiatric evaluation and potential career termination, Thompson declared with bureaucratic finality. But Martinez's Marine training had included contingency protocols for institutional betrayal. Her backup evidence packages already transmitted through classified military channels to oversight authorities who understood the difference between legitimate intelligence and bureaucratic politics. The government's most secure communication networks carried Martinez's complete intelligence file through encrypted channels bypassing FBI administrative control, her evidence reaching military intelligence analysts who recognized sophisticated warfare planning when they encountered genuine tactical coordination. For days after Thompson's administrative destruction of her investigation, Martinez sat in her empty apartment cleaning her service weapon when her encrypted satellite phone buzzed with an incoming call from the most secure number in American government. Agent Martinez, this is President Michael Guardian Thompson. Your investigation has reached my desk through military intelligence channels, and what you've uncovered represents the most serious threat to American security in our nation's history. I need you in the Situation Room immediately, the Commander-in-Chief announced with constitutional authority. The presidential motorcade that arrived at Martinez's apartment complex sent shockwaves through FBI leadership as neighbors watched armored vehicles and Secret Service agents escort the mentally unstable agent who had been publicly humiliated just days earlier. The White House Situation Room fell silent as Martinez entered, her evidence files now classified at presidential level, while military analysts confirmed every aspect of her intelligence work with mathematical precision that civilian bureau administrators had dismissed as paranoid speculation. Agent Martinez, your investigation has identified a coordinated terrorist conspiracy involving 17 simultaneous infrastructure attacks planned for execution within 48 hours. This intelligence requires immediate presidential classification to protect ongoing operations while preventing public panic, President Thompson announced with grave authority. National Security Advisor General Rebecca Steele Rodriguez immediately implemented emergency response protocols based on Martinez's intelligence, her military background providing strategic context that civilian FBI administrators had completely missed when evaluating threats requiring integrated analytical approaches. Agent Martinez identified coordination signatures indicating simultaneous attacks against power generation facilities, communication hubs, transportation networks, and federal installations. Her tactical analysis reveals enemy capabilities that would paralyze American society while providing hostile forces decisive strategic advantages, Rodriguez reported during classified briefings. CIA Director Jonathan Shadow Chin integrated Martinez's domestic intelligence with international operations, his analysis confirming sophisticated foreign coordination that exceeded Bureau assumptions while proving Martinez had identified actual warfare rather than conventional terrorism requiring traditional law enforcement responses. The stunning presidential reversal transformed Martinez's dismissed investigation into America's most classified counterterrorism operation, her systematically suppressed evidence becoming state secrets requiring presidential protection while completely vindicating military analytical capabilities. FBI Director Thompson faced immediate congressional inquiry regarding systematic suppression of critical national security intelligence, his career-ending testimony revealing institutional failures that nearly enabled catastrophic attacks through bureaucratic dismissal of legitimate military intelligence work. Agent Martinez conducted the most critical counterterrorism investigation in federal history, and our systematic suppression nearly enabled 17 simultaneous infrastructure attacks. Institutional bias against military analytical capabilities compromised national security through deliberate dismissal of legitimate intelligence, Thompson admitted under congressional oath. The presidential classification created revolutionary security protocols protecting Martinez's investigation, while establishing unprecedented counterterrorism procedures integrating military intelligence with civilian law enforcement for threats transcending traditional jurisdictional boundaries. Harrison's administrative career disintegrated as congressional investigators revealed his systematic pattern of suppressing investigations by female agents, particularly those with military backgrounds who challenged institutional assumptions about domestic threat assessment capabilities. Stevens faced professional sanctions reflecting institutional recognition that gender bias combined with civilian arrogance had threatened national security through evidence suppression motivated by administrative career protection rather than investigative excellence. The Martinez Protocol emerged from presidential requirements, establishing mandatory procedures ensuring military veterans received appropriate integration within civilian agencies, while protecting critical investigations from institutional bias and bureaucratic suppression. Martinez's promotion to Deputy Assistant Director reflected unprecedented recognition that military analytical capabilities deserved senior leadership positions within civilian intelligence operations, her advancement proving investigative excellence transcended traditional boundaries when national security validated unconventional approaches. President Thompson's Personal Medal of Freedom ceremony acknowledged Martinez's courage in pursuing investigations despite systematic institutional opposition, her recognition providing vindication for years of professional isolation while establishing precedents protecting legitimate intelligence work. Agent Martinez prevented 17 coordinated infrastructure attacks that would have paralyzed American society, while proving that analytical excellence faces institutional resistance until presidential authority validates investigative courage transcending conventional assumptions, Thompson declared during the classified ceremony. The classified nature of Martinez's investigation created permanent changes in federal counterterrorism operations, requiring presidential oversight for intelligence involving coordinated domestic international threats, while ensuring investigators receive protection from institutional retaliation. FBI Academy curriculum incorporated Martinez's methodologies as mandatory training for counterterrorism specialists, her techniques providing educational framework for integrating military approaches with civilian procedures for complex national security threats. The partnership between Martinez and presidential security apparatus established lasting improvements in domestic intelligence operations, creating comprehensive resources supporting military veterans within civilian law enforcement while ensuring analytical excellence received institutional protection. Congressional oversight committees classified Martinez's investigation as definitive evidence of systematic failures within federal law enforcement, her vindication providing legislative framework for protecting whistleblowers who exposed institutional bias threatening national security. Martinez's classified congressional testimony established legal precedents protecting investigators from administrative retaliation when pursuing evidence challenging institutional assumptions, ensuring future operations received appropriate support rather than bureaucratic interference. The emotional transformation following presidential vindication fundamentally changed Martinez's relationship with federal service, her recognition providing validation that military training deserved integration within civilian agencies rather than systematic exclusion. Defense Intelligence Agency analysis confirmed Martinez's investigation had identified the most sophisticated terrorist coordination ever detected on American soil, preventing catastrophic attacks while revealing capabilities exceeding conventional counterterrorism assumptions. International intelligence services studied Martinez's methodologies as revolutionary examples of integrated threat analysis, demonstrating how military experience enhanced civilian capabilities when institutional barriers were overcome through presidential authority. Years later, Director Martinez commanded integrated counterterrorism operations spanning multiple agencies, while Thompson served as senior intelligence advisor, their collaboration influencing domestic security through military-civilian partnerships, enhancing traditional approaches. The classified legacy of Martinez's investigation extended throughout global intelligence communities, creating mandatory military consultation requirements for domestic terrorism cases while establishing procedures protecting analytical excellence from institutional bias. Counterterrorism experts throughout NATO studied Martinez's approaches as definitive examples of integrated assessment, demonstrating how military capabilities enhanced civilian operations when bureaucratic resistance was overcome through appropriate oversight. The precedent established by presidential classification became mandatory study material in counterterrorism education programs, where Martinez's investigation provided training examples for agents learning integrated military-civilian procedures for complex threats. Homeland Security implemented systematic military consultation programs based on Martinez's vindication, ensuring veterans received integration within civilian operations while protecting investigations from bureaucratic suppression and institutional bias. Dr. Patricia Cipher Williams documented Martinez's procedures in classified manuals influencing counterterrorism operations throughout intelligence communities, ensuring military integration received recognition rather than systematic exclusion from civilian agencies. Agent Martinez demonstrated why military analytical capabilities remain essential for modern counterterrorism operations. Integrated approaches reveal coordination that conventional civilian law enforcement cannot detect, making military-civilian collaboration crucial for national security, Williams concluded. The comprehensive collaboration between Martinez, Thompson, and Williams established permanent security networks providing integrated analysis, investigative coordination, and administrative protection for operations requiring military precision rather than exclusively civilian approaches. Martinez's decision to continue investigations despite institutional opposition required overcoming professional isolation, career threats, and administrative sabotage, her persistence representing investigative courage matching military heroism, while proving excellence transcended bureaucratic boundaries. The transformational moment when presidential authority validated Martinez's investigation permanently revolutionized federal counterterrorism operations, establishing that military intelligence earned recognition through verified performance rather than civilian assumptions about capabilities. Federal observers witnessed bureaucratic arrogance dissolve when confronted by presidential classification, demonstrating that institutional confidence collapsed when military precision revealed coordination possibilities that sounded impossible to civilian minds lacking integrated experience. The Martinez Protocol created revolutionary changes in domestic counterterrorism. Procedures requiring military consultation integration before civilian investigations could dismiss intelligence while establishing procedures protecting veterans from institutional bias. Legal precedents established through Martinez's presidential vindication protected future investigators from administrative retaliation when exposing institutional failures threatening national security, ensuring analytical excellence received consideration rather than systematic suppression. The comprehensive transformation of FBI counterterrorism procedures reflected recognition that modern threats required integrated approaches transcending traditional boundaries. Martinez's investigation proving military capabilities deserved integration rather than dismissive treatment. Martinez's investigative legacy influenced generations of federal agents who understood that national security excellence emerged from integrated capabilities rather than exclusive civilian approaches, her methodologies providing frameworks enhancing traditional procedures. Harrison's congressional testimony became mandatory viewing for federal supervisors, his admission of systematic bias serving as institutional warning about catastrophic consequences of dismissing legitimate intelligence through administrative arrogance. The international recognition of Martinez's investigation influenced counterterrorism cooperation agreements between allied nations, her methodologies becoming standard protocols for detecting coordinated threats requiring integrated military-civilian approaches. Stevens's professional destruction served as permanent reminder that institutional bias against military capabilities represented fundamental threat to national security, her career termination establishing precedents protecting legitimate intelligence work. The comprehensive documentation of Martinez's investigation provided training materials for intelligence academies throughout NATO countries, demonstrating practical applications of integrated analysis, enhancing international counterterrorism cooperation. Martinez's subsequent command of joint international task forces reflected global recognition that her innovations had revolutionized threat detection capabilities, establishing permanent frameworks for military-civilian intelligence integration transcending boundaries. The classified nature of Martinez's achievements meant public recognition remained impossible, but her influence extended throughout intelligence communities where her methodologies became standard procedures for detecting sophisticated threats. Presidential Medal of Freedom recipients rarely remained anonymous, but Martinez's classification requirements meant her heroism stayed hidden while her innovations continued protecting American society through enhanced counterterrorism capabilities. The institutional transformation following Martinez's vindication created lasting cultural changes within federal law enforcement, establishing that military experience deserved integration rather than systematic exclusion while protecting investigators from retaliation. Congressional legislation influenced by Martinez's experience established permanent protections for intelligence analysts whose investigations challenged institutional assumptions, ensuring future operations received support rather than bureaucratic interference. Martinez's legacy extended beyond individual achievement to fundamental transformation of American counterterrorism capabilities, her integration of military approaches with civilian procedures creating enhanced detection abilities continuing to protect society. The emotional bond between Martinez and her military contacts provided ongoing support throughout her civilian career, demonstrating how warrior connections transcended service boundaries when professional isolation threatened investigative morale and analytical excellence. Martinez's private moments of doubt during institutional persecution reflected human vulnerability behind professional competence, her personal struggles providing authentic dimension to heroic narrative while emphasizing courage required for challenging bureaucratic power structures. The psychological impact of systematic institutional betrayal created lasting trauma that Martinez overcame through professional vindication, her emotional recovery demonstrating resilience necessary for intelligence work requiring personal sacrifice for national security. Martinez's relationship with fellow military veterans within civilian agencies created informal support networks protecting analytical excellence from institutional bias, their collective advocacy ensuring future investigators received appropriate consideration rather than systematic suppression. The cultural transformation within federal law enforcement following Martinez's vindication established new appreciation for military analytical capabilities, creating institutional recognition that diverse backgrounds enhanced rather than threatened traditional investigative approaches. Martinez's training programs for civilian agents incorporated military tactical thinking into traditional law enforcement procedures, her educational initiatives creating hybrid analytical approaches maximizing institutional capabilities for complex national security threats. The public recognition that Martinez could never receive due to classification requirements created personal sacrifice paralleling military service, her anonymous heroism reflecting dedication to national security transcending personal advancement or professional recognition. Martinez's influence on younger agents demonstrated mentorship importance in federal service, her guidance ensuring future investigators understood integrated approaches while maintaining respect for traditional law enforcement values and institutional stability. This story was brought to you by Silent Salute. Before we leave you today, here's our question. Have you witnessed critical intelligence systematically dismissed until presidential intervention exposed institutional failures? Have you seen bureaucratic confidence completely collapse when confronted by classified evidence revealing threats beyond conventional comprehension? Tell us in the comments about moments when investigative excellence received presidential recognition through classified vindication revealing national security truths that civilian authorities couldn't understand without military analytical experience. And if you believe analytical courage deserves institutional protection rather than administrative suppression from bureaucratic authorities lacking integrated capabilities, hit that subscribe button supporting our mission of honoring investigators who whose discoveries exceed conventional assumptions about threat analysis. Nobody questioned her evidence again. Not after watching presidential classification transform dismissed conspiracy theories into America's most guarded state secrets, proving that investigative genius recognizes analytical precision regardless of institutional resistance. When national security validates military intelligence capabilities transcending traditional civilian limitations and bureaucratic arrogance that nearly enabled catastrophic attacks against American infrastructure and civilian populations.